honestly, the amount of hate that I saw even about the Ferris wheel, if it was really that bad, if we had that many complaints, why the fuck did the cops not show up to shut us down? And she went, excuse me? I said, why the fuck did the cops not show up to shut us down? And she was just like, oh, like, why do you even have to get to that point where you're so desperate for alcohol that you're not even gonna look where you are, who you're talking to? With the women, it's mostly just, my food was cold, no one brought me my jaw, there was no more pakode when we got here. Yeah, because you got here fucking 2.5 hours after the event started.
Yeah, stand on your real face. You got something to say it with your chest. Don't be such a pussy.
Now by Panda 347.
Yeah,
right?
Panda 347, just to talk shit for the sake of talking shit. Those fucking losers. But anyways.
And quickly, before we get into this episode, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to reach out to Jessie to work with her, www.jessiecara.com, or reach out to her on Instagram at JessieCara.
All right, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the 19th episode of the House Talks podcast. Today we have a very special guest on, Jessie Cara, also an event designer with Jessie Cara Incorporated is the business name. And she's here to talk to us a little bit today about her business and why she got into business and how you guys might be able to learn a thing or two from her. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. So just getting right into it, what made you want to start your own business?
I actually fell into business because how I started was I started off with chair covers, and I bought chair covers because my in-laws didn't have the budget for them. So I went and bought them. Okay, I should rephrase that. It's not that they didn't have the budget for them, but they didn't want to spend $1,600 on chair covers. So I went and bought my own chair covers, and we used them at the wedding, and then they were kind of sitting there. So I was like, ooh, maybe I can rent them out and make some money. And 5 years later, here I am.
Would you have wanted it to go any other way?
No, but I can honestly say if I did not meet my husband or get married to my husband, I probably wouldn't be in business.
Really? Why is that?
Because I wouldn't have bought the chair covers. I would not have been in business. Yeah, I would have been in HR or some sort of, it's what I went to school for.
What were you doing before that, Jessie? Before you, like when you, because that happened during your wedding, right?
I got married at 23.
Oh, I got you.
So I got married young.
Okay.
So I had bounced between 3 different programs, and then I did a year of accounting at BCIT. I did a year of human resources at BCIT. And then I did a year of just taking random classes at Kwantlen. Just, I don't even know what I was doing.
Yourself up.
No, yeah. Not really showing up for class. Yeah. And then I went to school for gerontology. That was so I did recreational based therapy. So I was helping people. I took the program gerontology, but I actually ended up working with people between the ages of 18 and like 25 who had overdosed on drugs or had done other things, and they need to relearn how to use their bodies. And I remember one day there was this she had to be like 24, and her boyfriend had beat her so bad that she could not walk properly, talk properly, had a lisp. And I went home and I just cried, and I was like, that's it, no more. And from there, I just started focusing on my business. Before that, it was like something on the side, but like that moment, I was like, I don't want to do this. And anyone that knows me knows that I like take everyone's emotions in. So in that moment, I was like, I need a clean break from this because I can't do this. I can't work with people like this.
One thing that hasn't stopped is the crying though.
No.
still crying.
But you know what? If I don't have a good cry at an event, I'm like, okay, did it even, like, was it successful? Because it didn't stress me out to the point of tears. They can't be successful. Yeah, no, I wear my emotions on my sleeves. So I'll cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm mad. But it is what it is.
All in the makings of a extraordinary event planner.
Extraordinary, yes, I am. Thank you. I will take all the compliments.
So walk us through the start of starting your own business. What were some hurdles that you never would have assumed that you had to overcome? Was it like clients? Was it like sourcing stuff? What was kind of some big hurdles for you that was a learning process?
I feel the hurdles didn't really start at the very beginning, but more so later on. I've always been the type of person when I have a problem, it's like, okay, how can I solve it instead of dwelling on like, okay, I'm in a problem, right? So when I first started my chair cover business, nobody wanted to pay $4 a chair cover. So I went to makeup school, started doing makeup, and I would get girls to hire me for their hair and makeup. And then I'd be like, hey, chair covers look so awesome. And then I would make an additional $1,000 to $3,000 off of them for their chair covers, right? So it was just like, just thinking outside of the box and just being creative. I think truly my problem started is when I got pregnant with my second. And that is like, I love my kid, love him to death, but he has made me see the side of the world I did not think I would ever see. I remember when I got pregnant, my husband was like, are you sure about this? Like, your business is going like this right now, and you're going to, like, this is going to change everything. I was like, what are you talking about? I can freaking handle it. I can freaking handle anything. I couldn't fucking handle it. Had really bad postpartum. My husband ended up having to quit his job and take care of me because I couldn't leave our bedroom if he forgot to leave the lights on in the whole house. So it's just like I went from running at 100 to like not even being able to crawl. And that's where it was. And that's also when I realized is I had no systems and processes in my business. So I feel like that's so important, like just having that. And that's why like doing the grunt work is so important to me now, and why I make it such a focus of, you know, the different service offering that I have for other, you know, event planners, designers, decorators, anybody. I'm like, you have to have your systems in place. You need to be able to get up and walk away from your business if you need to and have it still run, because if it's like solely dependent on you, it's like a child that never gets out of diapers. Right? You gotta let your child's gotta be able to crawl, it's gotta be able to walk, it's gotta be able to run without you. You can't coddle it your whole life. And that's why when people say, oh, my business is my baby, I used to say that. I don't say my business is my baby anymore, because I don't want a baby. I want like a full-grown rich-ass man. That's my business. It's fucking supporting me. I'm not supporting it.
I like that.
That's so funny, because we, on our last episode with George, a mutual friend, he was talking about the same thing, about how he was working, and then they had a vacation planned, and they were like, he's like, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know. And it's like, and we always talk about, like, you always want to be able to like work in the business, but you want the business to be able to work without you in it as well. And I think that's really, really important. We were talking about earlier, front loading the grunt work as well, and making sure that those things are still done on a regular basis. Can you talk to us a little bit about the service that you're actually offering now?
So I'm starting, it's called Empowered Success Club, and basically it's where dedicated hours to work like on your business and not in your business. So like making the time to create your content plan, taking the time to do your bookkeeping, instead of getting a letter in the mail or something, like just to be on top of it. It makes such a big difference. And I feel like when you're newer in business, you don't think of that because you're so excited and there's like so many fun things that could be done. I'm gonna use, actually, we had some work done at the house. I'm not gonna say the company's name because I don't wanna bash him because he's actually a really good kid. Young kid. The first day he was at my house, I was like, this kid has nothing. He does not know what he's doing. And I go to my husband, I'm like, I guarantee you he hasn't ordered the supplies. I guarantee you he doesn't even know how much we need, right? My husband's like, no. He seems like such a good kid, right? He's gonna do good. Right? The next day, yeah guys, I can't come in today, right? And I'm like, I bet he hasn't ordered the supplies. So I call the company because he let me like pay the company directly. I'm like, has our stuff been ordered? He's like, no. And I was like, told you so. But like, I can pick up on it now when a business doesn't have their systems in place. And it's bad, but you need them because your reputation and how people are going to refer you, and if they're going to refer you, and how they're going to speak about you once you've done your job and left, will really determine that, right?
Absolutely. Like, especially starting off too, like word of mouth is a great way to market your business. Everybody's big on social media and stuff nowadays, but if you have people that are talking to their friends and they're like, oh, we had a poor experience with this person, that kills a lot of business for you. So making sure that, you know, you might not know everything, but making sure, like you said, like having systems in place and making sure that operations are working as smoothly as they possibly can, obviously super important, right?
Because it's, okay, we said referrals, which is huge for business. Like you guys have product-based, I have service-based. But the thing is, if I have somebody, let's say you came in and you had a great experience with me, right? So you go tell him, like, hey, go work with her. And you dealt with me while I was like totally available. So you had this great service. And then by the time he's reaching out to me, I'm busy. I'm not responding to him. I don't have the system in place. He's going to be like, why would you refer me to this check? Like, why would you do that? And it's just same like with product, right? If everyone is not treating customers the same way when they walk into the store, if you don't have like your employee manual with like, okay, this is what our expectations are, you need to say hello within this many minutes of someone walking in or whatnot. Like that consistency is what's going to make people remember who you are, right? Like even at events, people will be like, oh, but that doesn't even matter. But the thing is, like, if I'm working multiple events with a family, you'll notice that the same server will work with the same family throughout the whole week. And it's done very strategically because by day 2, I want the server to know what you like to drink, what your dietary restrictions are. So when you walk in and you don't, like, let's say you're vegetarian, they're not bringing you a plate of chicken pakoda and being like, do you want it? Right? And because my job is to now represent the host. And if they came to my host's house, they wouldn't be offered chicken because they're vegetarian. So it's just, in any business you really need to put yourself into the place of your client and then your customer and just be like, okay, how can I show up? And then duplicate that with systems and processes.
Definitely, Jesse.
First
Definitely.
impressions are a huge thing, right? Everyone understates it, but that first impression will leave lasting effects on everyone. You might get a second chance if you have a bad first impression, but very
rare.
Unlikely.
It's
Yeah,
very rare.
Very
But
rare.
even speaking on the notion of the consistency, right, at each and every event, or if you're handling one event, 2 events, or whatever it is, but even whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business, obviously if you have products, you're still providing a service to some extent. But even looking at it at an approach of, like, let's use Walmart for an example. You will go to a Walmart here in Surrey, you go to one in Toronto, in the States, freaking India, whatever it is, you're gonna get a very similar experience when you walk through those doors, right? They've done that on purpose. It isn't just happening. It's the systems they've put into place, and yeah, that's no difference. Even for us, it's one thing that we're really like planning on right now is how do we mimic our service that we provide in our store? How do we do that online? We have some ideas and we're going to implement them, but that's I feel is the most important thing, because like, imagine that would suck. It's like, you know, this event was good, or this store was good, but when I went over here, it sucked. And you kind of see that, right? You see that in especially these places that have franchises even, right? Like you go to one franchise, right? They have the name, and then they'll go to the one, it's great. You go to another one, it's not so great. And you wonder, why is that, right? And then it starts from the top. If the people at the top don't really have their hand in there, and they're not doing the right things, they're not having the correct systems in play, then honestly everything will go to shit eventually, because your customers will stop coming to you.
Yep. And anyone who thinks that's not going to happen to them, or they're on a high, especially in the wedding industry, right? It's so easy to get to, like, you're just going in the wedding industry. It just takes one event. We are only as good as our last event. And I think people sometimes forget that, and they think, oh, don't worry, I've got this whole summer booked. Great, enjoy it, because you ain't getting shit next year.
Well said. Well said.
Farhad touched on that same point too. Is like you're only as good as your last sale.
Yeah.
So it goes for any industry you're in. You can't base it off 10 years of experience. Yeah, you have the experience, but at the end of the day, people are going to remember the last big thing you did.
Yeah. Well, think about it. That's bang on, because like otherwise you're just that guy, that freaking 40-year-old that talks about what he did in high school all the time. You know what I mean? Like
I'm so glad I didn't peak in high school.
Yeah, but you were back when I won the freaking this tournament. I shot the buzzer beater, and like I was so cool. But it's just like, it's the same to your customer. It's like someone comes in, they had a bad experience, so you're not gonna go to them. Yeah, but remember 1 year ago when I helped you when I helped you with that one thing? Like, you remember that? They're gonna be like, I don't give a fuck.
It's like Karn and his hockey career.
Yeah, hey, that's a cheap shot. That's my arm. Let's say, hey, that's a cheap shot. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, 100%. That's so true, because people are only really give a shit about what you just did for them, not what you did a year or 2 years ago. Because what are they gonna say? Oh, the service went down, or they're not as good anymore. And that's very easy for them to do if you're not providing that service to the best of your ability.
Especially now, okay, whatever, call me out, cancel me, do what you gotta do, but people are entitled as fuck. Everywhere you go, everyone is just like, okay, I got $1. How much can I squeeze out of you? Right? And it's like,
They try turning the dollar into 10.
man, I got people trying to turn $1 into 100, and I'm looking at them like, we're gonna get something out of this, like at the end of the day. But it's just, that level of respect is so different too, in like how you treat your clients. Because in business, there's gonna always be someone trying to get a deal, right? And how you communicate after that, because I remember when I was younger, I would get butt fucker. I'd be like, you don't respect my work, you don't respect my time, right? And it's just how we deal with these situations is really going to affect not even our working relationship with that client, but many other clients going forward. And I think as new business owners, I feel like everyone always thinks, but this person's running a business, they're freaking raking in all this money, they're just doing so well. But it's like you don't really realize what goes into it until you're actually walking in their shoes and doing it. So, if someone's listening and they're thinking about starting a business, like really be honest with yourself. Are you willing to get up at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning because someone called in sick? Like, regardless of what happens, are you willing to be up? I remember at 3:30 in the morning, I got a phone call that the alarm was going off at a warehouse. It was a fucking mouse. I didn't know that. I still had to get up and drive 25 minutes to the warehouse, right, to get there, because I don't want to call the cops or whatever to see what's going on. But like, you have to be willing to do that. And especially if you're a woman and you're in a relationship, or if you're married and you're running a business, good luck, first of all. Secondly, like, really think about what you're getting into, because like, you're still expected to be a wife, a mom, a daughter, a daughter-in-law, regardless. Like, I get it, guys have it hard, but if you're gonna have if you're planning on having a family, and that's something like really affected me and my husband, was when I first, when my business was booming, I was never available Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So while everyone else was out, he was at home taking care of our daughter because I had to work, right? And then it would be and then everyone stopped inviting us because they're like, Jessie's never available anyways. And having to rebuild that is hard, because then you lose relationships. So if you're thinking about starting business, you really need to evaluate what you're willing to give up, what you're not willing to give up, because the world's gonna tell you can have everything. Yeah, you can have everything, but not at once.
Did you ever have that talk with your husband? Like that honest talk about, this is what it is, this is what I'm trying to build for the next few years sort of thing? Or?
I think it was done, but it was done really late.
Interesting.
Okay. We were we had gone through the trenches and before we actually had that serious conversation. But as I said, I didn't start out to start a business. I thought I was gonna make some easy money with chair covers, right? I thought it was gonna be the easiest money.
And then here we are.
Here we are.
It's funny how that works, eh? How you
Makeup
fall
and
into
chair
things.
covers turned into this.
Yeah, it turned into
amazing-
this, right? Even when I started, even turned to decor, because my chair cover company used to be called Elite Chair Covers. Okay, guys, the very first wedding expo I did, my broadcast, I had a full 10 by 10 booth, and the only thing there was one chair with a chair cover on it with flyers. Elite Chair Covers. There wasn't even a banner.
You gotta get a short together for
Banner,
that.
guys.
We gotta get a short for that.
There's one lonely little chair with flyers on it. I didn't even set up a full fucking table to make it look like what it would look at, like a venue. No, one single chair with a chair cover on it.
Didn't have any. No one was even sitting in the chair. It's just
It's a chair.
there you go. That's a flyer. Yeah.
And then at one point I got so embarrassed I wasn't even standing there. I just went and stood to the side and talked to the other people because I didn't want to be the girl with the chair.
Could you imagine someone comes, oh look, a resting station.
Oh, the number of people that went and sat there. And I was just I couldn't even say anything because I was I've got a chair. It's nice quality, see?
Did you get any customers from that?
No, not a single one. You would think. You would think.
Well, that's big lesson to learn from that, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But even at the beginning, man, I don't know a single person who starts a service-based business and makes money there like the first couple of events.
Like,
And if you did, man, you're...
I feel like any business for the most part, like who's making money their first year or two.
Industry's so saturated too. Your competition is everywhere. Like, you want chair covers, there's 40, 50 other companies doing the same thing, right? So
Freaking photo booths.
Any
decor,
business.
DJing, anything. There's a lot of them out there. 'Cause people see, oh, quick money, I can do this too, right? And then when you're the consumer, you gotta kind of figure out who are the good ones and who are the bad ones, right? And that, once again, what we were talking about, it goes through word of mouth. Who are you asking? People that have done it before.
Yeah.
And there are some big companies that we all know of that don't have the same pull that they had 10 years ago because their quality dropped off so big. Whether that's DJ companies
Or the fame gets to their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ego's the biggest killer.
Yeah, because literally, we're from a trailer park. Like, I am brown trailer trash. Not far. Like, we legit lived in a trailer park up in Fort Nelson, like where the bears would come knock on our things when my youngest memories. Okay, moved to Vancouver. Like, my mom was really, really sick growing up, so she never worked. My dad literally worked 3 jobs to support us, right? So that is where I came from. And then all of a sudden, there's these brown people giving cash. It's like, it's a whole different, because people will be like, because I started off doing white weddings, right? And I was doing coordinating and design. And I was like doing it, but then the brown weddings was like 3 times the money, right? You start, like, there's a difference, especially if you haven't seen money. Even if you have seen money and then all of a sudden you're making all this money, it can get to you, right? And it's just like, either you have people in your life that'll call you out on it or don't, because if you let that get to you, then you're doomed.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the life cycle of any business, it's like, everyone has that crazy boom where they have such big growth, and then the hard part becomes, okay, how do I maintain it? You know what I mean? Because then other competitors come in, they see what you're doing, they want to do it, and then at some point there is a decline. Every business goes through it. Freaking Coca-Cola went through it. You know what I mean? Apple went through it. Every big company out there goes through it, but it all comes down to, it's like, hey, like, how do we get ourselves out of this hole? You know what I mean? Some companies do, but most don't. And a lot of it comes down to the ego. It's like, I'm indestructible. People will come back because I'm me, right? But it's just like, you're you, but people aren't coming for you. They're coming for your business. You're 2 separate entities. Yeah. Yeah, no, everyone needs to be humble. Honestly, I feel like everyone sitting at this table needs to be humbled every now and then, right? But I got a question. I'm very curious. So from the chair covers, how did you scale up? Like, where did you go from there to like get yourself going? Because obviously you knew that it was getting you some money, but like, I can do way better.
I want to go back to work. Okay. So I was like, what can I do, right? And then I go to my brother. I was like, so you got some money. How about you put it into my business? I'll buy some centerpieces, right? And then, so that didn't work out, but that's okay. But like, he was just like, no, that's not happening. But I was like, I'm just going to try this. So then what I did was I started adding centerpieces. So it was, okay, I've got your chair covers, I've got centerpieces. And then from there, I was like, okay, let me add backdrops into the mix, right? So I started, all of a sudden I was doing full decor. Now I had gone to school for coordinating, but like planning a 100-person white wedding that's done in like 15 minutes, I do, and then they'll have a party and they're gonna be done at 11, 12 max, compared to brown weddings, totally different ball game, right? And I remember, I think it was like 2016, Arjun Buller was getting married and I was doing the decor, and the family's like stressed out. I'm like, just hire a coordinator, right? They'll do it for you. And they're like, we don't know a brown one. I'm like, I'll do it for you, right? And they're like, well, what would you charge? I didn't think about it. I just threw out a random freaking number. I paid 3 times as much as what I got paid on the labor to do that whole event. Yeah. Right? But I was like, okay, let's see. Like, I was gonna do it, and there was no way I wasn't. That event, I remember the lies I told to that family, because they're like, everything's smooth. I'm like, yeah, everything's great. We had no power. Okay, somebody ran the wires, it rained on it, So an hour before the party's to start, we still can't do sound check. Okay, Jazzy B's hanging out in the tent. And I'm like, "Bas aate kari janne yaar. We got this, right? You guys go get ready. I got this." I'm calling every electrician I can think of, every generator rental company, thinking what's wrong, right? Because my thing is solve the problem, right? I was going to solve that problem. And it was just, and I did it. But that's what I feel is so different than then and now. The business owners I see now aren't willing to do the 10 extra steps outside of their job description to just get the job done. Because I could have very well said, I didn't hire the power company, you did. I didn't hire the company running the wires. I didn't hire the DJ company. My thing was, I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna fix this, I'm gonna make them love me so much, because they had 1,400 people in their backyard.
That's even for an Indian wedding, that's huge.
That's huge.
My first one.
Wow. It's ripped off the Band-Aid.
How many times did you cry?
I cried.
No, that's it. I mean, your clients, your customers, they don't want to hear you say, no, I can't do it. Are you kidding me? If someone told me that and I hired them, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
I would tell them to get the fuck out of here. I'd be like, what am I paying you for?
Legit, yeah.
And
They
they'd probably
won't
say,
no.
that's not part of my job description if you checked my terms.
Oh, I hate those people.
When you look back at it in hindsight, you're like, yeah, it makes sense. But the people who go above and beyond, you remember that person for life. Yeah. You won't forget that person's name. You won't ever stop recommending that person to anyone, right? Yeah. So
The very first decor job I did back in 2005, like full service decor job, the very last decor job I did that was strictly decor was for that family. Wow. Every single one of their brothers, sisters, kids used my services. Like where before the family even found out, one of the parents would call me, right? And this is the other thing, me being fluent in Punjabi has really helped me because I get along with the parents. Yeah. So the parents would call me, be like, okay, so-and-so's is getting engaged. We haven't told the family yet. Here's the date. Just put it on your books. And it'd be for like a year down the road, 2 years down the road. Yeah. And those things make a difference, right? They really help you to build that connection and build that relationship with people.
So that was your first break you got? I mean, it wasn't a break.
No. I was doing full service decor for years before that.
Overall wedding planning.
But yeah, and that's when I shifted from just offering decor in the Brown community to also offering coordination and planning. And but now I've I opened floodgates because so many other companies now have followed that, and they've been like, okay, this is what we do, and then they start adding these additional services, which I think is great. But I also feel like if you're gonna do that, please, for the love of God, go and take some sort of training, because you need to be able to really work with space, and there's a lot more to it. If you can't figure out the flow, you guys get it in the store, if you stick, you know, as soon as you walk into your store, there's this big display there and no one can get around it. You might sell that thing, or you might not even sell that because that's not what they need. But they're not thinking about space planning. They're not thinking about how the guest is going to go from where they're the entering to go get a drink or go to their table. They're not thinking about these things. They're not thinking that, you know what, the DJ and sound needs to be central. It doesn't need to be right in front, but it needs to be close enough that they can see what's going on. So if there's nobody on the dance floor, or if the mic needs to be turned on, they need to be able to see that. Just little things like that get so missed because they haven't taken the time. They just see, oh, okay, XYZ, all these companies are doing it, let me do it. It's going to be an extra stream of income, but can you actually execute, right? And I don't mean to tell people, if you don't have any experience, don't start a company. Go ahead, but before you test it on a paid client, maybe do a cousin's event or something for free. Right?
Because it might make the parts of the industry look bad as well if you can't trust that a full service wedding provider can actually be a full service provider, right? And then there might be.
And we have no regulations in this industry, right? The wedding industry has no regulations whatsoever. Yeah. These two could start up a decor company tomorrow.
I like your shirt.
You look good.
So you're wearing blue? Let's do a blue backdrop behind you, right?
Brother's wedding.
Themed events are in, okay? All thanks to your brother's wedding, he brought back themed events.
And COVID to half the lower mainland, but we won't
Yeah.
get into
Were
that.
you busy during COVID?
No. Because the type of events I do were not happening during COVID, like during the main part of that year and a half. And also because I had completely shut down decor. If I was still doing decor, I would have. But because I was doing I'm still focusing on full service, those weren't the weddings that were happening.
Yeah, because even for Gnitz, we pushed it back after that because you just couldn't make it work.
No, because it wasn't practical. And even getting supplies, I think we're still recovering for the price hike from the wedding industry did, right, during COVID.
And the people don't want to pay them on either, right?
Yeah, but sorry, I love you, wedding industry vendors, but man, half the time what you're charging, I can't justify it. How am I supposed to go tell my client, this is what we're gonna pay, right? And anyone that's worked with me knows, I treat these events like they're my events. I'm I can't justify that. You're not getting paid that. But it's if I can go out and buy the stuff and do it for myself for the price of what you're charging me, we have a little bit of a problem here. Right? And it's or if I can still have some money left over to go do something else. And if you don't have the service, and my biggest pet peeve is it comes back to the systems and processes. It's if I have to email you 10 times to get a hold of you and I can't get a hold of you, I can't justify spending this kind of money on you. That's just it. I'd rather go book somebody else and work a little bit harder myself and save my client the money and have someone that actually wants to be there and is gonna go the extra mile for them.
Yeah, I've seen you source stuff personally and just buy it outright and say, you know what, I'll take the hit on it and I'll use it for a future.
Yeah.
So going that step above everyone else is going to pay dividends at the end of the day, right? So
I know you mentioned Ganit, so I have a question for you. The Ferris wheel. How'd you pull that off?
You call the company and they deliver it.
That's it?
how'd you think of that idea though?
See, okay, I will not take credit. That was not my idea. That was actually Roger from Lux Affairs' idea. Okay. And she was like, let's do a Ferris wheel. I was like, yeah. I'm like, but I ain't going to Harminder with this. Come with me. You tell her the idea. I'm going to stand to the side because...
Yeah, very good idea.
No, I said nothing.
You're just doing all the hand gestures.
I did nothing. I just stood there going, either she's about to get a backhanded slap right now for even suggesting this, or it's going to go great. One of two things is going to happen, and I'm staying out of it. Just because I knew the logistics and everything of it, because, yeah, it's a great idea, but it was we legit, everyone left the wedding and had a freaking Ferris wheel pop up overnight.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that at all.
Right? There's a lot of work, there's a lot of people, there's power, there's so many things you need to think of.
The guy who actually worked for that company drives, I think, for Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes. He's always dropping food off here. He goes, I'm the one who says the parachute.
You're the man for the 10th time.
Hey, that's a high in his life. Let him ride it, okay?
Next time you should just be like, hey, aren't you that guy? You should reverse it.
You should. You'd probably make his day. Be like, they remember
He doesn't even
me.
let me talk. This is the first thing he says. I open the door. Ferris wheel. Sweet.
This guy.
Let me know if you guys ever need anything else. I was like, bro, hopefully not, man.
Wasn't it you who saw it and was like, why is there a Ferris wheel? I don't even remember who ruined the surprise. Could have sworn it was you.
Probably was me. I'm
Yeah.
horrible with surprises.
Yeah, I think someone took the wrong road down. We kept saying, do not drive by the house, do not drive. Yes, because we had come from the other house. Yeah, but
Yeah, it was me.
it was you.
I come back home, I was like, yeah, Ferris wheel. Everyone's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Need information, don't know about this. Just shut your mouth.
They had no clue. And honestly, the amount of hate that I saw, even about the Ferris wheel, even towards them, and I was like, they had no clue, man. Ganit probably didn't even know what colors were being used throughout the week. Like, she had no idea.
Even like all the complaints that were coming in, all the neighbors, we've talked to them, they were all fine. They said it wasn't bad at all. And then
It wasn't. And that's the thing. So I had like reporters calling me for days afterwards. And I remember one day I was tired. I was irritated. Like, it had been 21 days of working the event, and I just lost it on her. And I was like, if it was really that bad, if we had that many complaints, why the fuck did the cops not show up to shut us down? And she went, excuse me? I said, why the fuck did the cops not show up to shut us down? And she was just like, oh. I was like, yeah. So before you go start saying this, go get your facts. Once you've got your facts, call me back. I will give you the interview.
it was easy clickbait. It was easy clickbait. There's a Ferris wheel, make an issue about it.
Yeah.
Easy for people to talk about. But all our surrounding neighbors, they're like, we were fast asleep. We didn't get bothered by the noise.
Because
nothing.
we shut it down. Like, you know, some of us, when we've been in business and, you know what we're doing, we call the city. We ask what time it needs to be shut down. We ask what time the lights need to be off.
Have some systems in place.
Yes. We know what time we need to turn the bass down so the DJ's not like, some of us do our research. Yeah. So it's like everything was turned off. Like, we did a last call for the Ferris, so it was closed down, like shut down on time. Now, if a bunch of people are driving down 192 and stopping to take a photo, that's not us, right? And I've said this before, I'll say it again. The issue was, it was a brown man and a brown, we are in Langley. If a white man had done it, the Smiths did a wedding for freaking Anna Maria or Marie, like their daughter's wedding, and they would, oh, isn't that so sweet? Tom had a Ferris wheel for his daughter's wedding. It's so sweet. I can't believe he saved up for that. That is exactly what we would have seen on the news, okay? I'm sorry. As soon as you see a brown man, it's like, look at them, they're just throwing their money, they're making a nuisance, they're ruining our traffic. Like, okay, thanks.
We had people on the roads making sure traffic was moving, but people were just stopping in the middle of the road to take a photo.
Yeah.
Like, that's when if the cops are going to show up, maybe you should ticket all the people who are disrupting traffic.
Yeah, ticket them, right? And like, it's just like, we legit, your dad and I went to the neighbors' homes the days leading up to it and said, hey, we're having an event. You're more than welcome to come join us for food. This is what time it's going to be happening. If you have any problems, here's a phone number, let us know, right? We did our due diligence. So if someone is going to call the cops just because they got nothing better to do, or like call the newspapers because they have nothing better to do, that's not on us, right? And one other thing, I have to say this because this still irks me. There was legit politicians that were sharing and like making statements about how people are having these big events and they're not being considerate. And somebody I know reshared it. I will not say the politician's name. And I was pissed, right? And so I call up the person that reshared it. I was like, do you know none of that is true? I'm like, did you know we did not, for one of these events that you're complaining about, they had 44 people there, and that's not even the regulated amount in October 2021? Did you know we had 138 people at the reception? What's so big about it?
Yeah, the limit was 150 and we were under by like 20, almost 20
I'm like,
people.
What's so big about it? Tell me what's so big about it so I can like figure this out. Why? Because they spent money, because they had a Ferris wheel, because we had a lot of stuff, because we put up a big tent so people actually have room to sit, so we can follow the regulations of putting 6 feet between tables. That's what you guys are complaining about?
Breathing down each other's necks.
Yeah. Every single vendor, every single server, anyone that was present, I personally checked their freaking, if that they got their shots. They had to submit it before they were allowed on site. I had to change a vendor because there's a staff that was going to come do an install was not, like, they didn't have their shots up to date. So I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't use you. Right? So without even knowing these facts, people were just spewing nonsense. And like, stop with the hate, man. Like, go get your facts. Like, let's not do what the generations before us did and just be hateful. How about we take the time to get some answers and then share an opinion?
That's the same dumbasses that create fake accounts just to talk shit on people's posts. Yeah, all you dumbasses that are doing that. I see you on TikTok and
TikTok
Instagram.
Panda 3.
I'm sorry, you are the you are the biggest fucking loser. I'm sorry if that's you. You have a fake account. First step, delete it. Second, just figure out why. Yeah, figure out why you do that,
Stand
man.
behind your real
Yeah,
face.
stand behind your real face. You got something to say it with your chest. Don't be such a pussy.
Now by Panda 347.
Yeah,
right?
Panda 347 just to talk shit for the sake of talking shit. When
So
you're
is
probably
this
the,
like an account?
yeah, it probably is.
Everyone's random ass names.
Yeah, when they're probably the ones that got bullied. They got bullied their whole life, so they got to hide behind a face. It's those fucking losers. But anyways, but honestly, even like let's just say if someone was to have like a wedding maybe where they don't have that much money to spend, people are still gonna talk shit. You might have a good wedding where you're trying to please everyone. People are still gonna talk shit. It doesn't matter. You can't please everybody. I think once you like, even for you as a business owner and especially doing the type of business you do, once you realize that like, okay, I'm not gonna please everybody. Like, I don't know. That's like a whole new set of freedom you just set for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, it's very liberating.
Yeah, and in that wedding industry itself, like, who is to judge what the other person's doing? It may not be in your financial means, but if your wedding is going to be $20,000 and you're happy with it, go for it. If you want to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars, or your parents want to do that, and they're okay with that, who is anyone else to say, okay, this is right or wrong? That is their own choice. Let them spend their money where they want to.
There's those TikTokers. I forgot what they're from Toronto, moved to California. It's Mandeep, the artist guy, inked by something, his wife's brother. So they posted our wedding cost us $150,000, right? I'm sitting there laughing because I was like, that's like pretty much what brown weddings cost. Like you're like.
Oh, and they did a breakdown.
Yeah, they
right?
did a breakdown.
I saw that
and
too.
People were losing their shit in the comments, right? And I'm like, these people not realize, like, we don't have, like, from 1 p.m. to freaking 10 p.m. bullshit. We've got, like, 6-7 days. Like, there's going to be a difference of what money we spend. And also, if they're not spending your money, why do you care? Like, my biggest pet peeve is the people that are like, you could have donated with that. Well, how do you know they don't make donations?
Hey, do you make donations?
Yes.
You dipshit?
Yeah, like, seriously, right? Like, do you? Like, you're calling them out? And it's just, I feel it's so much easier. Like, people are so used to hate and negativity that when they see positivity, they don't know how to react.
And another part I've never got to, it's like when it's like your own people, when it's like brown people hating, oh, these fucking dipper weddings, these dipped out. It's just like, wait, hold up. I'm sorry, wait, your last name is what?
Yeah.
You come from where?
How do your weddings look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Would
I'm
you
like,
like to explain to me?
yeah, that's honestly most are just like your insecurities just coming out. You know what I mean? At that point, it's like you hate it, but you got to look deep down. It's like, why do you hate it? Why does it irk you that? Why does it get you that worked up where you hate weddings and Indian weddings, Punjabi weddings, whatever, Sikh weddings, whatever it is that much? You got to figure that out first. Because on top of that, if that's going to be someone's happiest moment of their life, one of their happiest moments of their life, or whatever it is, and all you got to say is just negative things about it, you are a definition of a hater. And you're probably the same people, that has middle fingers up on an Instagram post and saying it with the caption, "Fuck all the haters" or something like that. You know what I mean? It's the same fucking people.
Karn's riled right now. Struck a chord, yeah.
Whoever comments on Karn's picture, we're gonna find you.
Connor's like, great episode, guys. I think we're done for today.
Yeah. No, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like just be happy for people, man.
Yeah.
Has there been any moments like during your like a planning where people have come up to you like rudely and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I usually try to just be very, like, put a smile on my face and pretend like it doesn't get to me. I've only one time lost my shit. And that's because that person just, at the end of it, I was just so done with them. But usually I'm like, I think being able to speak Punjabi, I've like, spending time with the aunties, how they do all this underhanded compliments? I've excelled at that. So I just use their shit on them. Like, I had one auntie who was just like, the colors were whatever, and she's just like going on and on and on, right? And I was like, that's okay, auntie, when it's your kid's wedding, we'll do it that way. Like, don't worry. I will come personally and make sure we do it that way. But this one, let's just let her do what she's doing, right? Just like, that's all they want. Honestly, half the people, they just want to be heard. They just want to be validated. If we can validate them. You know how many times people come to me and complain, I'm like, yeah, I'm right on it. I don't fucking do shit about it. Like, 9 out of 10 times, I don't do anything about it. I just smile and say, for sure, I'm right on it. I'm just doing this one thing. I'm gonna send somebody to go do it, or I'll pretend I'm freaking going into my mic and doing something about it.
Next time you do that to me, I'm gonna just watch you.
Or she'll just, our parties, she'll be like, so this is what happened. We'll look at each other and laugh, and she'll be like, I'm gonna pretend like I'm doing something here so the person doesn't come back up to me.
Do you think it's more like auntie or uncles that come up to you events?
So when I was doing decor, it was the uncles. Like, I used to have a really hard time at the end of the night with the brown men, because we'd be picking stuff up. I remember this one time, this man was old enough to be my grandpa, and he called me a kutti for not giving him a drink.
What?
And I went, and I said to him in Punjabi, he called me a bitch in Punjabi for not pouring him a drink. I was emptying out water out of out of vases, right? Back when colored water was like a thing. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not a bartender. I don't have access to alcohol. And he's like, Sari kutti bin tindi nahi. Okay. I turned around. I went to the hall owner was standing right there. And he like told him off. I went to my client and I was like, I've just been disrespected. So either I shut everything down right now, because I could have started taking it down. I could do what I want. Or you go talk to him. And they took him home. That was the worst I ever experienced, where it was like, and then he was saying sorry, his family was saying sorry. I'm like, what's the point, right? But it's like, why do you even have to get to that point where you're so desperate for alcohol that you're not even gonna look where you are, who you're talking to? But with the women, it's mostly just, my food was cold, no one brought me my cha. There was no more pakode when we got here. Yeah, because you got here fucking 2.5 hours after the event started. Like, what would you like me to do? Let me just stop the dinner service to go get you some pakode. Or cha. That was I hate it. Cha, honey? Is there cha? And I'm like, it's 9:30. We've got dinner going. I cannot clear a stove to make you cha right now.
It's like, don't worry, auntie. I'll go get this book order for you. You just fix that lipstick on your teeth. In the meantime, I'll be right back. I'll be right
What's
back.
wrong with you today?
Car's on one. So Jessie just got me charged up. She's got me. I'm just thinking about all the things.
Negative energy. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's like the worst of it. Like, yeah.
Brown men are like that in general, though. Anywhere you go, they're always saying something or the other to degrade you or put you down. Like, Avkarn, he works at a car dealership and he works in the service department. He had a guy come in to get something repaired. It wasn't part of the warranty, and it was like a $47 bill. The guy goes on like a huge rant, all this. And Avkarn's like, he goes, Tesla, Fuddua, this and that. And Avkarn's like, you have a right to your opinion, sure. And he's on the phone and he goes, Jai the kam karda, wo bhi Fuddua. He told me the story. I was like, honestly, that guy's a legend because he said it to you. But that's a pretty fucked up thing to say to someone.
That is.
Like, he's just working on hourly. He can't just be like, all right, I'm gonna cut your bill. You don't have to pay anything.
But it's like, but that's what I mean by the entitled. Like, people nowadays are so entitled. It's like, dude, like, this is someone just working there. Just let him be. Yeah. But yeah, I think the men now, and I also feel like I don't get it as much from the men now, because before I used to shy away and I wouldn't bitch back. But I don't care anymore. I'm like, what? Like, seriously, what are you gonna do to me?
Yeah.
Like,
we're gonna put a GoPro on you next event, just to see the shit you deal with.
Don't, because then it's gonna be on us, and then she's gonna see.
No. Don't think you're drinking.
Okay.
So, do you need something to relax right now, Jessie?
So I paid like mad money and I got behind the scenes content from Ganeet and Parmesha's wedding. Okay, it was my real life reactions to everything. I can't use a minute of that shit because the stuff that comes out of my mouth in these moments.
Pretty sure he yelled at me like 7 times that night too.
I yell at everybody.
I think my brother and Jessie have some beef too.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think with him, he really hates that I'm so like, no, this is what we're doing.
He's like that too. That's
so we
why.
butt heads, right? I remember when he was gonna get a wedding planner, I was like, so you're getting a wedding planner? I thought we all suck. I thought we're a waste of money. Why are you getting a wedding planner?
Yeah, he has a newfound respect for you after having his own wedding, and he's like, okay, this is a bit of a gong show. You need help with it.
And you really need to have a thick skin, honestly. You need to have a thick skin to deal with it all. Because, like, if I had started doing planning when I first started, I wouldn't have lasted. Like, the shit people will say to you and do, and it's just, like, and they get worked up about the stupidest stuff, and it's like, it's food. Like, if I was at your house, like, you wouldn't be able to turn this around this fast. Like, just take a deep breath. It'll get to you. Like, no one's, like, purposefully not giving you a non.
Yeah.
Like,
Or, like, when people complain about food, it's like, honestly, it's the chef and the cooks in the back. They made it, and we're just serving it to you. Like, there's nothing we can do about the quality other than please do something better for the next meal.
oh, the one that really gets to me, they had too many options. Why would they have so many options? And I'm like, if we had one less, there was no options. I couldn't even find anything to eat.
Veggie ko chai nahi si andar.
Can never win.
You can't win. You cannot
Honestly,
win.
when I'm at a wedding and there's multiple options, I'm like sick. I'll try this. I'll try that.
It's like I might not have to get McDonald's at the end of the night.
Yeah.
All eat dals and I had dal before. Throw it on the plate.
As you get older, you start eating at hall parties now too. Like in your early 20s, you're like, I'm not gonna
I'm
eat.
just
I'll get
stick by the bar
McDonald's.
here,
Yeah.
get McDonald's
Now it's like you 10, 30, 11 hits. All the boys are at a table just fucking stuffing naan down their throat.
Yeah, that's me. At the end of the night, I don't eat during because I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
They actually banned me from eating food. Did you know that? Because
He can have appy, that's it.
I'm allowed to have appies when I'm with my friends when we're out.
Because he goes to
drinking and
sleep.
partying. They fall asleep.
Wherever he
I'm,
is.
like, legitimately, I'll just get tired and and I'll literally Uber home or something. Like, where did he go? Like, oh, someone fed him.
Someone fed him.
He eats enough food
He
for
he
like
didn't get
3
drunk.
people.
We're okay. No need to call the cops. He'll just
He
eat.
eats like a plateful for like the whole band, like, you know, like.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where I have eyes on me. Like, sometimes I have to I gotta like sneak away or something for a little bit. They're not ones that like I'll have like one of my friends, Raju. He'll have hawk eyes on me, and I'll like go to the other side. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you about to eat right now?
A couple of burkiyan, take a plate away. No.
Message in the boys group. He'll be like, Karn's eating. All the boys
But I've had my plate taken from me. Like, fuck.
Everyone else finishes his food. Karn's sitting there hungry. Hasn't eaten all day. Keep drinking.
And then you hear his mom. He only when he goes out with so and so, he comes home drunk. Every time he goes out with so and so.
No, but going back into like, the wedding industry, have you noticed a big change of like events and like the overall culture?
They've gotten bigger. And I hate to say this because this is where I make my money, but the competition, and it's become less about doing things for like the couple, whereas I feel like it's all for social media. It's for the TikToks, it's to go viral, it's and I don't like that. So I really actually like when couples don't want to blast their stuff as much, because it's just like, I want them to enjoy their day, but if they're too busy wanting to take photos of themselves or wanting to get their content, it just really takes away from the moment. And like, I'm also one of the few people that understands why like the hukamnamas for brides not wearing crop tops. Like, I get that, because we've stepped so far away from what a Sikh wedding is and what it should be. Because technically our weddings, there's no jago, manya, there's no reception. It literally starts upon arriving at the Gurdwara. It starts with the Ardas, ends with the Palla, and that's it. That's a Sikh wedding, right? So it's become such a, like, this big festival.
The rest of it's
with
all
Ferris wheels.
cultural.
I'm kidding. I know. I had to throw that in there because I know somebody listening or watching would be like, and they had Ferris wheels. Like they're just
Gotcha.
the keyboard warriors are out. I'm gonna beat you to it.
2, 4, 3, 5.
Yeah, fuck you, Panda.
No, but the thing is, that wasn't even done as whatever. Like that was legit. Like I remember when Harminder got the idea, she was like, ooh, that's cool, right? She had no idea. So this was us as vendors going to her with this idea, right? And it was a super cool idea. Like we got some crazy photos like of the bride and groom before the event started, after they got there, before they walked in, but it wasn't done to be whatever. But I legit had somebody come to me, was like, okay, that's the kind of like viral stuff I want. Like I want the Ferris wheel for this reason. And I was like, dude, you're not my client. Like that was done out of the parent being really excited to see how their child would react. That's a very different reaction or a different reason for wanting it than I need to now chop this, right? But that's because, I don't know, maybe it's just a Brown thing. It's like everything's a competition. So
I feel like once you get to like, I don't know, a certain like socioeconomic part in society, like if you're, depending on who you're around, right? Like those people sometimes try to one up each other, like you were saying. But I've thought about this too, like quite hard. I was just like, hey, why like do people care so much? I recently got married last year. Like no,
he didn't hire me.
I didn't. I was in Mexico though. I was in Mexico. But I know you're gonna say you could have done that.
Making sure we were there.
Yeah.
It was all clear.
No, and I wasn't really all for like posting all over the place. Nor was my wife, right? Which was great. But just with our family and friends, that type of thing. But I really thought, I'm like, why the fuck do people want to like just blast it everywhere? Like like they're in the Bollywood shoot or Hollywood shoot, whatever the hell it is. And I've come to realize it's this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but most people, and I'm not trying to be rude or mean or anything like that, but if I am, fuck it.
That's the motto for today. Just
yeah, fuck it. Most people, like that moment with them being, their wedding photos, they're leading up to their wedding, after the wedding, during, whatever the hell it is, when the spotlight's on them, that's the only time they're ever going to have spotlight on them in their entire life. Like, regardless of the fact if they're doing something special, their career, whatever, you know what I mean? So they just want to make the most out of it, and they really want to put it out there and have like their moment of fame. That's why they're going to have their wedding hashtag in their Instagram bio for a year, 2 years, you know what I mean? Which is a little bit weird, but I really feel like that's really one of the only real reasons, besides like the whole narcissism aspect of it, right? But yeah, that's what I've kind of seen.
A springboard to let their content creator, bad bitch, or dudes too, bad guy, like bad boy, like whatever it is, they just use it as a springboard, like I'll become something out of this.
But you'll notice the ones that actually go viral are the ones that were authentic.
Yeah, because there's
That
actual happiness.
We're not trying to go viral. Those are the ones that actually do go viral.
Because you're raw, you're original.
Yeah, because it's not staged. You didn't yell at your whole family because you needed more shots and more family came over in the morning of your wedding. I see these things and it's like, dude, just relax. Like, it's your wedding day. It's just, I feel I'm so old, but it's the generation too, because I feel like even for myself, it was always, okay, this is broken. How do I fix it? But it's like, oh, this isn't working. Toss what else is out there, right? Like, it's always what's better, what's next. And like, even with this whole wedding craze, everyone's just so like, I don't know, like, it's not about just enjoying moments with family. People are almost irritated family is there. Like,
or like yelling at family, oh, you ruined this or that. It's like, Shit happens.
Or like, I did this 10 years ago and she copied me. It's like, bitch, there's no way you did this 10 years ago because half the shit wasn't around.
And even if someone did, take that as a compliment. That you
Yeah.
like, don't talk down on them. Say, you know what? Maybe I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Look at it in a positive light rather than being like, oh, this person copied me. It's like, you did not invent weddings or anything that happened. You're like very few things that someone can say, okay, this was my original idea. Everything else is copied from something or the other, whether it's a movie, whether it's a music video, whatever the case may be. You're taking inspiration from parts of your life and you're making that picture a real thing. And that's all it is. But I guess that's where narcissism,
social media's done that,
yeah.
right? Because it's everyone's highlight reel and everyone's comparing. Like, I have a teenage daughter, so I'm seeing this firsthand where like everything is just out there. There is no, well, like if there's social media around back when I was her age, like I wouldn't have been able to do half the shit I did. Like, I location track her, man.
Thank God social media wasn't a big thing when we were young.
I tell my parents I was 4 blocks away and I'd be in freaking Surrey. Like, there's no way. But it's social media. It's like that comparison of, okay, who's out with who's out this weekend, right? Now, the part that truly scares me, the comparison is whatever, are the parents that are taking out $200,000, $300,000 mortgages and refinancing their homes to give a wedding to their child who is making them feel like what they can financially afford is not good enough.
Yeah, you got to stay within your means.
Yeah. That's the part that really scares me because it's just,
Do you see that, Jessie?
I see that. And that scares me. Oh yeah, okay. So you remember? Okay, so we.
Oh, we're talking about how you pick your
Yes,
clients. Yeah,
right. So, but you can tell who's trying to do it just to be like, "Ooh, I hired such and such a vendor," and who's genuinely just wanting your services, right? But it's like, if somebody actually told me that they're taking out a line of credit, I wouldn't even want to work with them. Because that's not fair to their parents. I had a client reach out to me. I told him my rates. He told me his overall wedding budget, and he was like, okay, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. And I was like, no, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. You need to find somebody else, right? Because if I'm taking that chunk of his budget away, that's not fair. Like, his parents probably worked their butt off to save that money for his wedding, and I'm not gonna bring my rates down because I know the value I provide. So I'm gonna be honest with you and say, I don't think I'm the best fit for you. And I told him that, and I also referred him to a few different people who I thought could work out for them, right? I don't know what they decided to do, didn't follow up, but that's the part that really scares me now, because that's the generation that's coming up where it's like, okay, fine, I'm just gonna rent my whole life. I'm not gonna own, I'm just gonna live my life. Yeah, good for you, go do it. But your parents' generation was a little bit different, and putting them in this much debt so that they can't retire, that's a bit scary.